Welcome to ECNTRADE Daily Video. Before we begin, it should be noted that any advice is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration.
Hello everyone, my name is Rob Clayton and thank you for joining me. Viewing the dollar index, which measures the greenback strength against a basket of 6 major currencies, is idling around that 94 handle after briefly last week touched a high around the 94.50s, which was recently contested and then dropped quite heavily. With the consolidation in the pattern here, still be very much on your guard as we could still see a further decline. However, not as weak as maybe some anticipate. There is a trend here that emanates roughly from the lows of 93, but there is support also from 93.45 to 55. So there is still support on the way down, and no doubt there will be pretty much a return in demand, and therefore eventually push the market higher and clearing the level of 94.40, 55 area and looking up towards 95.30, 80. This on the flip side would see the euro, which is weighted to the dollar index of 57.6, back away from the 116.15.65 area and look to the downside. It is looking somewhat weak at the start of this week. After two attempts at the top side, it's showing two dojis and some hesitance of taking the challenge higher. If this pattern continues, then we may see a further drop and eventually see its downside target, which was called not so long ago around 113.5. Looking at the Australian dollar, well, the market seems to be a little bit lackluster after the last 2 days. We are overbought, well, to some respect, and backing away from that region. Nevertheless, the market still didn't quite close above that 74.15 level, so therefore we may be reaching close to the top side of its range, as after a lot of difficulty when we last was up here late August, early September, and therefore could see the market drop eventually back towards that 60-day moving average, seen around 73.15. The dollar yen is also showing a little bit of hesitancy after there is some bearish divergence and an heated ADX. So therefore could see a potential pullback and therefore see the market looking back towards the bottom side around the low 113. Sterling was a little bit on the bullish side at the start of Monday. After over the weekend, Andrew Bailey, the governor of the Bank of England, was somewhat hawkish, and therefore the market has found a little bit more momentum as it breaks above the 137 level. Nevertheless, the market may actually run into a little bit of difficulty as we get a little bit closer towards that top side of 137 and maybe see a pullback. That would mean the CAD yen, after viewing the recent lack of yen demand, that we may see a little bit of weakness coming into play because we are extremely overbought and an overheated ADX. So I'll be looking back towards 91.40 for the start of the week and reassess. Gold took a heavy tumble on Friday, around $30, and now looks from the close of Friday for a further slide. The bearish trigger is seen around 1,748, and a break beneath there would give further exposure down to 1,721 to 33 as a wide target. And finishing off with oil, the market still remains somewhat bullish as we continue to trek higher around these 2014, 2015 highs. I don't have a view here. I am neutral because the market, in terms of how we're performing, can still stretch a little bit higher. So I'd rather sit out for the moment. As you can see, this ADX has been somewhat bullish for some time now, and also the MACD that is also holding to a firmer stance. So I'd rather sit out at the moment because I do anticipate a significant downturn, but not quite there yet. Well, that wraps it for today. Thank you very much for joining me. And as always, look out for the intraday report, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the day.